rights to the most needy. I mean, that's what you're saying. I mean, how is that not hateful?
The border is one of the biggest frontiers where drugs are funneled through. And people from other countries that may not be the best of people come over here, and they're part of criminal organizations. I believe the border needs to be absolutely controlled. As for building a wall, well, that's just semantics. And at least Trump's bringing to light that there is an issue here. And it's a national security issue.
Okay, well, I mean, you didn't answer my question, but that's just another straw argument. But I'm used to that with guys like you.
I did answer your question. You just don't want to hear the truth. Leviticus 22:22. Do not offer to the Lord the blind.
Okay, you know what? Hey, David, save that and tell it to a kid who got molested in a broom closet while being detained and separated from his parents. All right? How about that? All right, we're out of time. David, you have your right to your opinion, and I have the right to believe the facts. So we're going to end the show here. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. And David, thank you for joining me.
Here's another fact for you. The world is flat. Oh, boy.
Oh, baby.
I got to wash my mouth out.
We are, that's too close to the bone, man. That is too close to the bone. Of course, I like that because I've been watching. I have to sort of wean myself off the news. I mean, Farrell mentioned she was watching Rachel Maddow before the show, and it's kind of like this. It is. I mean, it is nothing but conflict, and we're all talking at each other. The only thing I was hoping you could find was something, not necessarily to give us hope, but something that's, because that is the conversation. That is the conversation all day, every day. I mean, it was, from a performance standpoint, what was good about it is that, and I don't mean this in the wrong way, neither of you are really listening to each other. I mean, actors listen to each other, but people who talk about politics today in America don't listen to each other. And you sold that really well, as far as I was concerned. Tell me why you chose this, and what was your launching off point?
So we chose political, and we came up with a couple of different scenarios, and then George sent me this Facebook, tirade that was on his Facebook feed, and that was our starting point. You want to go ahead and talk about that, George?
Yeah. This was. First of all, I want to gag when I say his name. I never say his name. You will never see his photograph on my social media. To me, he is 45, and that is it. So it was like the beginning of the quarantine or something, or first couple of months, and I had posted something about a New York Times article where there were claims that the children in the cages were being molested by the staff. And immediately, like, I don't know, 15 minutes later, somebody commented underneath, somebody I didn't even really know, but was a friend of mine. You know how you have those people that you don't know, but somehow they're a freaking friend of yours? Yes. Commented underneath, yeah, by the staff. And I was like, wait a minute, what? So no, he said, yeah, by the other illegals. That's what he said. And I was like, wait a minute, what? And then I went down the rabbit hole and started doing a little bit social media stalking, and it turns out that this guy was a Mexican actor, I put in quotations, who crossed the border. And as I look at his Facebook page, he's got all of this God first stuff on there, but he's also carrying a bunch of AK-47s and hanging out with his buds. And they got a couple of pro-Trump flags. And I'm like, it's so counterintuitive to me. Like, I never really understand these Latinos for Trump. I mean, I get it and I don't get it at the same time, because the Latino community is so splintered as it is, between being Mexican or Puerto Rican or Cuban or Colombian, Wepa, whatever we are, Guatemalan, da 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 da. No, I'm proud this. And, it's, so I tried to give the guy a little rope, and I was like, so how does that help the situation either way? Anyway, one thing led to another. We got into it a little bit where I shouted, I commented a Bible verse at him, and he commented back at me, and I was commented back at him. I was like, don't test me, fool. I went to parochial school for 12 years, and I was an altar boy and taught Sunday school. So, right? And I left it alone at that. And then later on that evening, I left it alone for like a few hours. Later on that evening, I logged back on, and another friend of mine, casting director friend of mine, had actually commented. She had read the thread and commented. And there was this long thread going back and forth between the two of them where he was calling her a racist, and she was like slamming him with facts and talking to him about straw arguments. And it was just back and forth and back and forth. So a lot of the stuff that Brian and I put down in this little vignette is actually straight from there.
Wow.
Yeah. And also, what struck me about it was that when the casting director was arguing, I mean, she was white but liberal, and he was Latino but conservative, and there was a real like precarious nature to that argument, because at a certain point, it was for me, it was uncomfortable, to have like a discussion about the border from a white liberal. Like there was a bit to me that was like, you're kind of overstepping. And so that just also reminded me of the whole Proud Boys stand back, stand by incident. And then you find out that one of the leaders of the Proud Boys is Latino. So I guess I was just interested in the precarious nature of identity politics. And so we kind of melded those two things together.
Yeah.
Came up with this.
Yeah. And so I guess, and maybe this is too much to hope for, to ask for, but it seems like with something like this, don't take this the wrong way, I want to hear something different, because what I heard, which was intelligent, smart, really well thought out, is what we hear all the time. So what can we, you know what I mean? It's like, there seems to be no, maybe that's the point. There's no resolution. There's no listening to each other. I mean, what was your name, Brian? I love your name. Brian, what was your character's name?
Corbin Smythe.
Corbin Smythe.
Corbin Smythe.
Yes. Perfect. But I guess that's my wanting to have that resolution in real life, and wanting people to actually listen to each other. And that's the age so you perfectly reflected the age we're in.
Maybe in a 12-1.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. I want to open it up. Anybody else want to discuss? John, yes.
First of all, great job, gentlemen. Jorge, just getting to know you, but that was wonderful. I am glad you spoke to the racial aspect of it, because I wrote down that was just a brilliant choice. It played against at least the stereotypes that I think we're used to seeing, and it was, watching your character, Brian, be surprised by that was a great moment of off balance. I wrote down a cautionary tale about all or nothing thinking, because one thing I like that you did, and I agree with Michael, like, would like a little hope, but I don't think that's what the point of the scene was. Both of you committed the same, not ideological, but like, I guess, civics crime against each other, which is there was no empathy whatsoever. And so it is a cautionary tale. And watching it, I'm like, oh my God, one of you just shut up. Just hear the other one. And it was like kind of you, Brian, I wanted to shut. You brought him on your show and you won't let him speak. I was like, this is.
Yeah, I'm already attacking him from the
beginning. It was, and I mean, it's a testament to the writing and y'all's performance that it kind of stopped being fun to watch. I was like, my God, I hear this every day.
Yeah.
The one thing that I'll say is, from a writing standpoint, I knew exactly where it was going to go pretty much the moment that Jorge, your character, was introduced. And I do wonder, and maybe it wasn't the exercise that you all set out to do, but I wonder from a text standpoint if there was room to build in more of an escalation. Because motivationally, I would think that, I'm sorry, I don't recall your character's name, Jorge, but motivationally, I would think that he would be doing everything he could to remain calm and try to truly speak to his situation. And even if Brian is sort of goading you, I think there was room for a greater escalation because it sort of went to that place and stayed at that place. That's my only critique, but you guys are both just so talented.
I agree. Thank you.
Good notes. Yes.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Anybody else? Farrell, yes.
Slightly different from what John just said. What I loved about the scene is Corbin got flustered, right? It's his show. He's very, like, he knows exactly how he's going to orchestrate this. But, or Hayes, I don't know what your character's name was. But
David.
I thought you were like, what was it?
David.
Yeah, oh, David. David was like strong, and it was like, oh, he was just so sure of himself. And I think that's what kind of really rattled Corbin. And I found that piece fascinating, that when the show host is a little like, and then I was like, yes, when he quoted back the Bible and then stepped away. I'm like, I'm not going to do that. And yes, it's what we see every day. So I thought it was done brilliantly, because I would think I would be watching a TV show right now, a new show.
Yeah. Also, just from a writing standpoint, the whole setup, Brian, when you introduce yourself, introduce the sort of the show, the subject matter, your guest, was really spot on. I mean, the writing there was like, that is exactly how these shows open, and it felt very lived in and very real. Yeah, I mean, the desired response is that one of you has a breakthrough, but the reality is you don't, because that's the reality we're living in. And so I think that was perfectly illustrated. And, you know, we would like to have a meeting of the minds, and that's a wish that is not only for this scene, but for the world we're living in right now. So I think that's what's being reflected. But really, I mean, it was so entertaining, and it's so, we know what this is, and so then it's just the pleasure of watching it and watching it unfold. Anybody else on this?
I'll jump in real quick and say, I think like you guys made it look so effortless, but there's a reason why it's really hard to write and then perform something that like holds up a mirror. Because, you know, like, I don't know if anyone watched SNL, but they was lambasted for being toothless. Well, they went pretty hard in the paint in terms of their biases and the insults and making fun of the situation. But I think the critique is it's really easy to like make a joke about something or make fun of somebody. It's really hard to do what you guys did, which is to honestly portray what's going on. And it's like, sadly, it's like a genre right now, but this is as good, like Farrell said, I mean, this was as good as anything you'd see on Showtime or HBO. And it was surprising.
Yes. Anybody else?
Nobody has comments about Sons of the Bald Eagle?
I wrote that.
How about that? Come on.
I wrote Sons of the Bald Eagle, which I thought was a fantastically good name for that. Before we
I just really wanted to dive, because it's such a foreign concept to me. I do not get it. The Latinos for Trump. I mean, it boggles my frickin' mind. So when
I don't get
Brian and I
anybody
start,
for
but I don't get anybody for it, but particularly, you know, but then after working on this with Brian, I was just like, I did a deep dive and listened to some NPR and some interviews and just went, wow, they really, really believe this.
Yeah.
They really. So, and that's what I wanted to buy into.
Well, and we have, I think any community, I mean, I'm Jewish, there's a lot of Jews who vote for Trump because of Israel for some ridiculous reason, and I don't understand that. And so, yeah, but, you know, we're in this, and I think what you guys reflected so well is we are in this era, which we will look back on, hopefully soon, where this kind of national brainwashing has occurred. And the lack of respect and the lack of decency in the basic everyday conversations around subjects like this is just, it's overwhelming. And it actually makes me sad if I think about it too much, because it's just, we're in a sad place. And I think you guys reflected that rather perfectly.
I
Anything
just want to
else?
be a proud again. I just want to be a proud American again.
No shit.
I used to be.
No shit. Well, maybe that time's coming. Before we move on, I want to just, Emma was not with us last week, and she's here and will be here for the rest of the session. So this is Emma, everybody. And we have special 1 week guest star, Brian Davis, who has been a longtime member of the studio for many years, is filling in this week, which is great. Also, before we move on, I want to set up the next 3. We've done Cameron, we've done Denise and Farrell, we've done Brian and Jorge. We're doing Cameron and Yvette. Who would like to go after Cameron and Yvette? Who rose their hand first? I can't. Brian and Emma?
Yeah, Emma did.
Okay. And how about Anthony and Christine? So we're going to go Cameron, Yvette, Brian, Emma, Anthony, Christine. And then we'll see where we are after that. So Cam and Yvette, what writing prompt did you guys choose?
We chose our own.
It was kind of interesting. We actually started. We had a launch pad. We first started discussing the doctor-patient thing,
Mm-hmm.
and then it kind of springboard. It was through that discussion, and then ultimately not choosing that one, that we ended up where we are.
Okay, cool. Cool.
This
cool.
one's not a doctor-related thing. It's something.
No,
completely
it's
different.
completely different.
Yeah.
Completely different.
All right. Well, we'll see you in a few minutes.
Okay. I'll let you know when I'm ready. Okay, I'm ready. Hey, babe, I'm almost done getting ready. By the way, I just finished watching Naked and Afraid. Are you almost done? Are you all caught up, I mean?
No, I'm not. Actually, I had to shave my dog from fleas, so now my dog's naked and afraid.
I love it. You can totally start a new trend in dog fashion. Oh, wait, hold on. Sorry. Yeah? Oh, okay. Never mind. No, never mind. I thought my roommate called me. Remember, Olivia? Oh my God. Wait, I forgot. So I got my test results back. I tested negative for COVID.
Oh, cool. That's great news. Yay.
Yeah. What'd you get? What about you?
It's still kind of up in the air. I mean, okay, these tests take forever, but I do have to get back to work, so I'm hoping.
Wait, I thought you got tested at work this morning. You say that you do it every single day.
Oh, yeah. Actually, you're right. So they probably would have told me. Yeah, so I guess I'm good.
So what does that mean?
COVID-free. Yay for me.
Yay! Oh my God, I'm so excited. Like, I can't believe it's almost going to be a month since we matched online. Like, we're finally going to be in the same room together. I did some research earlier today and I found these really cool techniques that can get the both of us going. Speaking of that, I got a big question. Your place or mine? Because if it's mine, I need to set everything up before you arrive.
Oh, there's something I need to tell you. I was kind of embarrassed when we first matched a month ago to go into that much detail, but It hasn't come up, but now I think you deserve to know.
It can't be that bad. We already shared our deepest, darkest secrets with each other.
Yeah, well, I just have a feeling you're not going to like it.
Try me.
Well, the thing is, I kind of have a condition, and how do I say this? I've got a shell where my sausage should be.
What?
Yeah, I definitely should have told you sooner, and it's very personal, and I really don't like talking about it, but I think it means that our plans can't pan out.
Wait, no, don't. I don't take it that way. No. You know that what's important, I think of what's important is only on the inside.
Well, yeah, but like, you deserve someone who can satisfy you.
Well, we can get creative. You know, I'm not ashamed to spice things up.
Whoa, wow. That's so understanding of you. But there's another thing.
What is it?
So another thing I didn't tell you was that I just got called up by the Army. Yeah, there's a crisis happening on the border right now, and I can't really talk about it. It's not really well known, and I need to leave really early tomorrow, and I still haven't packed yet.
Clyde, you told me that you're a pacifist. You don't want to see me anymore.
Oh, it's not that. It's just.
No. I get it. Just when things are about to get real, you get cold feet.
Look, hey, it's not that. Don't get me wrong. Look, I have loved talking to you over Zoom. In fact, I hope we can keep talking over Zoom. You're an amazing person, but I don't want to, play naked Twister with you.
You know what? If you had told me this earlier and you were honest with me from the beginning, then yeah, I totally would have been down with that. But you weren't honest with me. And that is something I expect from all the guys that I talk to. I'm done. I don't think this is going to work out. Mm-mm.
I understand. Could you just do me one favor, though? Please don't tell anybody that my dick doesn't work. It does, actually. It actually works.
I could tell you're lying. Your sob story wasn't really that moving. And because of that, I think I'm going to tell everyone you have a non-existent dick. Yeah, I'm going to do it. Every girl deserves to know the kind of guy you truly are.
Wow. I thought honesty was the thing that really mattered to you. I guess not if you'll be spreading a lie about me to everyone you know.
Well, there's always that one exception with how you apply honesty to a situation like this.
I don't want people to think my dick is small or non-existent.
Okay, maybe I won't say anything. I just hope you learned your lesson.
Look, this is not the kind of guy I am. We all have our moments of weakness, right? I'm just human.
That's very true. Just don't let the past bite you in the ass. Or in this case, your sausage.
Okay. I'm gonna run. But by the way, I'm just making sure. You're not serious about spreading that rumor, right? Were you?
No, dude. I don't punch that far below the belt.
Thank you so much. I actually do have a pretty substantial sausage in reality. And it definitely packs a punch.
That's great.
If you want, you could tell people that.
Yeah, no. Mm-mm.
Well, all right. It's worth a try. Okay. Bye, B.
Olivia, where is my money? I told you that guy would end up going in a month. Dick.
Hi, Linda.
Dating today. Very entertaining, very watchable, just watchable. Yvette, I loved the energy you came in with, and which gives Cameron so much to work against, What's the real story? I don't know if that I know what the real story is. I'm interested in that. What's the real story? Why are you not into her, Cameron?
Kind of like a variation on the date where the one person loses interest over the course of a month. We basically just decided that after a month, like, my guy was too much of a nice guy to actually be upfront and honest. So in this circumstance where it's finally like, oh, they might be able to meet because they both got tested, instead of just being honest and saying he's not interested, he just tries to make up a bunch of excuses in a futile attempt to not.
From a writing standpoint, the only thing that I didn't buy is the crisis down on the border.
Yeah, I was just thinking, what's the most like unbelievable, like, bullshit excuse imaginable that could immediately be like, no, what are you talking about? But you're right. I think, yeah, I could have come up with something different.
Well, yeah, it's just then it's completely preposterous. So because on a scene like this, the tension and attraction you can keep. I guess my only real note is I kind of knew, and I think it's in the writing too. I kind of knew early on that you were not going to be part of it, Cameron, that your character was not going to be part of it. And I'd like to have known that later. I don't know if that's a writing thing, or I don't know if that's the way it was played. But as long as, if we can sustain that until it's no longer sustainable, I felt you got to that point. And again, I'm not sure if it's a writing thing or the way you played it. You got to that point where I knew what the inevitable outcome was going to be earlier than I wanted to. But it was very, very entertaining and really clever. And I mean, I loved you had such polar opposite energies. Yvette was just bursting through the screen and very sweet and available and sexy, and Cameron was just Mr. Reticent. Loved it. I want to open that one up. Anybody else have thoughts on this? I'm sure you do. Yes, Kels.
Yeah, I really enjoyed out of the gate. That was like a really fun setup of two kind of a juxtaposition kind of characters. I did kind of, as it kind of unraveled, I either wished that Cameron, your character, was a better liar, or I wished that he was a little bit more of a mess, so I understood why he was saying no to this beautiful woman who's like up for it. Because you kind of like rode the middle ground, and I was like, I don't do it, or you've got to be a better liar. But it was really cool, and both of you were like really nicely settled, which is really, really great, into your own authenticity, which was super, super cool. But I think it's just a writing adjustment of like, if he's lying to her, what's underneath the lie? Why does it have to be a lie? Why can't it be a cutoff? And is there still a sexual tension that's possible there? And with if Yvette, I love at the ending when you're like, I knew this guy was gonna bail, because then that gives me a full arc for her. I'm like, oh, that's why she stayed in with it. I get it. But for him, we gotta be a little more clear. But it was really fun, guys.
The ending was kind of like spontaneous. I think it was yesterday or the other day. I was like, hey, I think I kind of have like a spin-off ending that no one will see coming. I was like, let's do like How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days type of ending. And it worked.
Yeah, and my question is the same point that you just brought up, Kels. Is that a writing issue or a playing issue? I'm not sure. I think it's a writing issue. I think it just could have been. I think in the writing we could have held on to the hope that they might get together a little longer.
Mm-hmm.
It was very entertaining, and Yvette, you use the screen so well because you're playing this young, really available and funny, and you're kind of all over the screen in the best possible way. I mean, it felt very real. It felt very right what you did. I thought both of you guys were really very good. Other commentary, please. Yes, John.
Yvette, I just want to say you continue your streak of growth every week. This was just a blast to watch, and I unabashedly say that you commanded the screen, you commanded the humor. I know we said this last week, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago, about feeling taken care of, but I knew this was a weird scene pretty straight away. I did not expect ever in my life to hear I have a shell where my sausage should be, but
and what is
the energy levels that you guys found were perfect, and I didn't know. I mean, I started taking notes and I was crossing them out. I was like, I don't know what the hell to write down. But it was like you kept delaying the punchline, and then the punchline kept changing. So both of you worked really well as writing partners, which is great. But then just the energy differential. And Cameron, you have a gift, man. That deadpan dry thing. There's a place for that. There's always going to be a place for that. And you just you really hit that sweet spot. I do agree with Kelsey's note about differentiating the tones of the lying, but kudos. But specifically, like Yvette, great job.
A shell where my sausage should be. I'm still working on that in my brain. Don't know what that is. Don't know
the different comedy thing. He was like, okay, what should I say? And I was like, no. And then he said that, I just bust out laughing, and he was like, okay, yeah, we're using that.
Yeah, at one point it was like an empty garden hose. At one point it was like a limp spaghetti. It could have been like 4 other things, but that's the one we ended up settling on.
Other thoughts, notes, comments on this? Yes, Farrell.
So it is just a comment.
Farrell, we can't hear you.
I'll start over. It's just a comment, and it's when she was saying I got tested today. It took me back to the time of dating in the time of AIDS, right? You couldn't go out with somebody. It was like, oh, and then it was like, oh, of course it's COVID, but you led me down the path of AIDS. And my radar immediately went up when you were talking about shaving your dog for fleas. And I thought, well, he's kind of a quirky. I mean, I immediately bought into the quirk. And I do like how you established your roommate in the beginning, so that you could bring her in at the end. I thought that was good.
I was weird about that part. I was like, how am I going to get her in without feeling weird? I was like, oh, I know where to put her. Right there.
I liked it, but I think on this one it was probably the writing, the choosing of the. I mean, you set the weird stuff. It's like, oh, I can kind of buy the shaving of the dog, but then when you kept building on it, it was like, that's no. This isn't going to go anywhere. But I enjoyed the ride.
Good. Anything else on this one? Very good. We're going to move on to Brian and Emma. And what writing did you use? Did you make up a prompt, or did you use one of the prompts?
We're gonna wait.
We're declining to answer that.
Interesting. Okay. Well, my interest is piqued. We'll see you in a few minutes.
Brian, I'm gonna come back in. Just come in when you're ready.
Hi.
Hey. Hi, Glenn.
How's it going?
It's Hi. From newsbud.com. Thank you so much for meeting with me today, coming on Zoom. I promise I won't take up too much of your time. But when my team saw your TikTok video, I mean, they just lost it.
Yeah, well, I've been getting that reaction a lot from everywhere. I mean, sure, I thought it was pretty funny to find a tomato that I thought looked like Larry Bird, but I didn't know if anyone else would agree, and I didn't know if anyone else would find it funny. But I certainly didn't expect 300,000 hits or likes or whatever.
I mean, it's not every day tomato becomes world famous. So,
Right.
How did you first discover it?
Oh, I was just out in the garden out back last week, and I was picking the ripe ones, and this weird one popped up, and the rest is history. It's been pretty crazy,
Yeah.
real surreal.
How long have you been gardening?
Since I moved back home to Rockville, moved into my uncle's old farmhouse about 25 years ago. Just tomatoes and corn and, peppers and cucumbers, that kind of thing. Just simple stuff.
Mm-hmm. And where were you living before Rockville?
Well, I'm from here. I was born here. I grew up here. But for a while back when I was younger, I wanted to head out and see the big city. So I spent some time up in Chicago, and then I got that out of my system, I guess, and I headed back home.
Got it. I'm actually from Chicago. I live in Hyde Park.
Huh? No kidding. Small world.
Yeah. Are you familiar with the area?
Yeah. Some of my regular haunts are right around there.
Yeah. Gosh, do you want to name out a few of them? Maybe I know them.
Let's see if I can even remember. A long time ago, the Falcon, the Cove, right? Cove Lounge.
Oh.
Are these places even still there?
Yeah, Cove Lounge. Yeah, that's it's kind of turned into a tourist trap, so I try to avoid it when I can. Do you have any other friends or family that live there?
No, I pretty much lost touch with everybody. Didn't have Facebook back then. I don't have any family up there. I was really only there for like 6 months, so I didn't form any lifelong friendships or anything.
Okay, yeah. Do you know a Trish Wilson? She used to wait tables at Nell's on 53rd Street.
I think I remember Trish from there. Yeah, I don't remember the last name. Could be her.
Mm-hmm.
Friend of yours?
Yeah. Yeah, she's my mom.
Wow. Did I say small world before? That's pretty small.
Yeah.
How is she?
She's fine. I think it's honestly it's been a few months since we've last spoken, but she's part of the reason why I found the Larry Bird TikTok video to be so fascinating. Because I'm like 99% sure that you're my dad.
Wait. What? What gives you that idea? Wait, was this whole call just some kind of setup?
No. I mean, no. Yeah, well, I can explain. Growing up, it was just me and my mom and her on again, off again boyfriends, and she always told me that it wasn't important for me to find out who my father was. But of course, I wanted to find out who my father was. I mean, I'm a journalist. I want the full story of my life, and I couldn't help but wonder that there's this whole other family that I didn't even know existed, or I could get to know. And I signed up for Ancestry.com, and your name popped up. And then when the TikTok video went viral, I knew I needed to reach out to you.
I mean, ambush me, more like.
I'm so sorry. I know how invasive this is. I'm really embarrassed. I'm so sorry.
Just, okay, wait. What exactly did Ancestry say?
It linked you with my mom on the family tree. It was right above me.
I don't know what to say.
I know. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to ambush you. I just, over the years, I've just gotten more and more curious, and I just wanted to know who you were and what your relationship was like with my mom, and what your parents were like, and how I became who I am. I don't know. I guess I just felt like I needed this information in order to figure out my own identity. Yeah, genetic makeup. I'm sorry.
Well, here's what I can tell you. I said that I might know a Trish. Well, yeah, we were together for a while that summer, but not for very long. And I sure as hell didn't know she was pregnant. And then I found out my uncle was sick and needed my help, and so I left Chicago. It wasn't like there was any kind of big breakup or anything. She didn't tell me she was going to have a kid. She didn't contact me after the fact to let me know. I had no idea.
Did you ever consider reaching out, or did you feel a connection, or do you think about her?
Sure. As soon as you mentioned her name, right away I pictured this this fire, this sparkle she had in her eyes. Your mom, she was a wild one. We had a lot of fun together. A lot of late nights. Let's just say we had a lot of fun together. But it wasn't anything serious. It was never going to be anything serious. I mean, I don't think I was even the only one at the time. I probably shouldn't tell you that, but that's just how it was. And so when I had to leave, it was okay between us. And I'd kind of had my fill of the big city at that point anyway. So when I left, I never looked back. I moved into my uncle's place. I settled in. I started working at the paper, the Sentinel, and just lived my life.
Yeah. When I heard you work there, I couldn't help but wonder if that's where I got my love for journalism. But I'm not, it's clear I called you for a different reason. But I promise I'm not going to try to pull the parent trap and set you back up with my mom. I just, I guess I just wanted to hear your voice.
Good to know. I gotta say, this is a lot. If this is true, I'm not saying you're making this up, but if this is true, this is a lot. I'm feeling, it's like there's a weight. There's guilt.
Oh, I don't want you to feel guilty. And there's like literally no pressure to even talk to me again after this. I don't even know if I would want to talk to me after this. I'm so sorry for throwing this
No.
at you.
No. That's not what I'm saying. Not necessarily. Look, I think I want to know something about your life. I want to know something about you. I think. I've never been a father before. I was married for a while. Didn't work out. No kids. And when things ended with her, I just figured that was it. And I was okay with that. I am, actually. I don't even know where to start. I don't know if I can start right now either. Right? This is the,
Yeah.
but I'm not saying no. Okay.
Okay. Well, you have my number now. If you want to talk on here, I'm ready when you are. But I actually can't right now because I do need to cover the tomato story. So if you don't mind just walking me through that again. I'll actually write it down this time.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I just realized you have her eyes.
And that's why we didn't want to say what it was. Give it right away.
Yeah, I get that the ancestry would have given it away. Couple of things. I thought that was so watchable and so engaging and so it's just a human story that we can't we just can't resist. It was beautifully done, very watchable. The moment, Brian, when you realize she has the eyes, I forget the name of the mother. That was just superb. It was really next level stuff. For the 3-2-1 format, I have to just go on record saying it's long.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it was pretty long, but it is what it is. It was also pretty brilliant. So I loved it. I thought it was really, it just felt like it was happening right in front of us. And that's not an easy thing to pull off. You both were so, the interesting thing with you, Emma, because at the top, your character is so excited, and we don't know why you're excited. We just think, well, she's this lovely young woman who's a journalist, and she's got this cool story of the TikTok video, but it was then when it became clear why you were excited, and that the next time he goes to the story, now you have to write it down because you couldn't the first time. It was really memorable. That was very memorable. A little long, but memorable. I felt I had to say that. But I want.
Was it 3 play pages or screenplay pages?
Google Doc pages. So I see that where that.
Didn't time it. Sorry.
That's all right. It's all right. You made up for it with
My first time.
That's true.
You made up for it with a brilliant piece. I loved it. I just thought it was so engaging. I wanted to know more. I wanted to know what the next conversation with them is going to be like. I wanted to know if they're going to meet. I wanted to know if he's ever going to see the mother again. You know, all the things that you want to know. I wanted to know, but quite brilliant. I thought. I want to open it up for comments from anyone else. Yeah, Brian.
Hey, I loved that, guys. I thought it was really terrific. I just wanted to say to Emma that you have this quality, and I've seen you do it in several things. I just wanted to point it out. Of specifically when you're playing characters that are like mild-mannered, professional, coy fangirls. That's like how I would describe it. It is so good. It is such money. Like, I think like you played it during when we did that weird play about screenwriters, and when we did that reading, that Teresa Rebeck reading, when we your character was trying to buy the mirror. It's a similar character you play that is very effective, and you kind of played that here too, with your eagerness to get to know your father, and also it kind of like it's a swerve because it almost feels like you're almost flirting. But it really, it turns out that you're just interested in meeting him. And then also, Brian, like that moment when, after the monologue, I thought when you realized like what a big thing this was, and you took this deep breath, like, man, for your consideration, I thought it was such a good acting moment, and you were so settled in. And then also I thought the writing was terrific. And I have a suspicion, I don't know this, I don't know what your writing backgrounds are, but I have a suspicion it's because I know the two of you are a part of those play readings all the time. And I feel like that, like through osmosis, really like gave you guys an edge in writing the scene. I just thought it was really good.
Could be. Thanks.
Thank you.
John.
I was start taking notes. The first thing I wrote down was Larry Bird tomato, which is a brilliant way to start that scene. Because I peed a little. I was dying laughing. That was just brilliant. But it's such a misdirect.
Yeah.
I settled in for, okay, we're going like 2014 Brian Davis weird here. And the place that it went, it was astounding. Stunning writing. The most effective thing beyond the writing was you both used silence so well. And MI specifically, the moment that it's about 2/3 of the way through, you trail off. And it just hangs. And I'm looking at you, Brian, like waiting for you to save us from that moment. But you guys let it hang. I mean, the acting disappeared. It was invisible. And I wrote down, hope for Zoom as a delivery system for content. This transcended to me the deficit that is like online acting. And it was very, very, very cool. And my hat goes off to both of you. I agree with Titch's note about your performance, Emma. Your audio was a little rough, but performance was incredible. Brian, what can be said? The the father moment where it's finally dropped on you, I thought your screen had frozen. I was like,
wouldn't that have been perfect?
No, but then like there was like a little life in your eyes came back. It was just this was just a masterclass. It was wonderful. And I'm through.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Great. Yes. Yvette.
I loved both of your guys' performances. Just like John said, like your guys' stillness, especially like 2/3 into the scene, was so beautiful. And I saw you guys actively listening to each other. Like I felt such joy for you guys. I'm like, oh my God, they have a beautiful arc. Like I just want to keep watching. So I loved it.
Thank you.
Yes, Anthony.
Yeah, ditto to all of the above. Also for me, and this was true for the both of you, there was so much specificity in your thinking. You know, like when you guys would stop in those silences, it didn't feel it. They felt like you know, you guys were clear on like, I could see, I've never fucking been to Chicago, and I was like, I know where they are. I know where they're thinking. I know, you know what I mean? And that's the kind of like stuff where I think you really do feel like the acting kind of disappears because you're the one in it with them all of a sudden. So that was just like, superb.
Well, and to that point, when Brian, when you mentioned the two places that you used to frequent, was it the Cove?
Yeah, the Falcon and the Cove.
Falcon and the Cove.
Lounge.
That was so specific in the best possible way. And I felt like, oh, I've been to the Cove. I've fucking been to that bar. I know what that bar is like. I know what it smells like at about 12:30 in the evening. I've been there. Yeah, it was for me, the moment, I mean, there were so many great moments, but when you, Brian, when you see her eyes and realize that's the eyes of a woman you knew a long time ago who you haven't seen for a long time, that's a brilliant moment. I mean, it's a brilliant piece of writing, and it was really nicely delivered. I thought just perfectly delivered. Loved it. Anybody else? Yeah, Cameron.
It to me, the best, like some of the most moving writing and carried into performance, because I think it's also takes a high level of skill to do, is to start with a really, really nice and settled like rapport, and it was so funny. And I thought like, oh, the scene started and I was thinking it was going to be one thing, and then it was just like, I love that moment where the rug gets pulled out from under me, and I'm that much more invested. I was already invested in the characters before, but now I'm like, my mirror neurons are like just lighting up like crazy. And I thought it was really, you guys really handled the shifts and the beat so well. And it was just like, I think Michael said it earlier, that the veil kind of went away, and I felt like, you know, very vicarious, fly on the wall.
Well, and to get back to something, John, you said that, I don't know that I didn't write it down, but something about giving you hope for Zoom acting. How did you put that?
I was so inspired about halfway through. I said, hope for Zoom is a delivery system for new content.
So let's just talk about that for a second, because when you said that, it jumped out at me as being correct. And in the case of this particular thing we're talking about now, this lovely piece these two wonderful actors did, true. And it is very interesting how that rolled out. And I had the exact same reaction, because sometimes we feel like we have to perform a bit on Zoom. And it's akin to, I mean, I remember, I don't know how I came to this, but when I was doing a lot of film and TV work, and I came to recognize how I would recalibrate myself just slightly for the close-up, and how the close-up was a different thing. It was the same scene I just did, but it was done in close-up, and I could do maybe a few more things in the close-up than I was able to do in the wide shot. And this is all close-up. And I just, that when you said that, John, it just struck me. It's a really, I don't know where I'm going with this, but I think.
Well, I'll jump in and say, I remember, and Kelsey, you were part of this conversation as well, but when we were trying to put together the structure of the class, it was like, can you do traditional scene work? And it was like, well, you know, you can't do Streetcar Named Desire on Zoom. You just can't. You can't do, it's just a different thing, and it's counterproductive. So when we talked about formulating it for Zoom, leaning into what is a weakness and turning it into a strength, and I think like weekly these get better and better, but to me this one was a high note of, this is a totally different scene if it happens in person, but because of the TikTok thing and the idea that this is what we're living right now, auditions, interviews, phone calls with loved ones, they're all happening via this mechanism. I mean, to get a freaking like revelation or bomb dropped on you in this format, or to have to be the one to seek what needs to be a human interaction, but vulnerably over this, I just think it was really like, it was universally just kind of visceral. And that's why I feel like, okay, if you can achieve that by leaning into what we perceive as a weakness, I think there's hope for all of us.
Yeah, it felt like, it really felt like I read a really detailed short story about both of those characters. And I knew so much about them, and a lot of that's not on the page. A lot of that's just in how you played it. I think this one should continue. I think you should do some more of these, just for yourself and for us. I just think this is too good to be a one and done. So think about that, and we'll all be standing behind you applauding, because I thought it was really quite very special. Anybody else on this? Cool. So the ones we have left are Anthony and Christine and Julia and Gareth, correct? Okay. So Anthony and Christine are next. What is the writing prompt that you guys picked?
Delivery gone wrong.
Delivery gone wrong. Okay. See you in a few minutes.
Thank you for holding. This is CB2's customer care line. My name is Anastasia. How can I help you?
Hi, I went online. I've been transferred to like 3 different calls, and I'm just trying to return / reorder an item that I received.
Okay.
So I'm just wondering like if I can get it back to you guys without having to actually pay for shipping. And then also if I can figure out how early I'd received what I actually ordered.
Okay.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. I'm just waiting for you to give me your order number.
Oh, got it. I didn't realize that you asked for that. Did you ask me for that?
Yeah, I just need the number.
Okay, okay, got it. Okay, so it's 333 0987 7171
0987.
Yeah, so okay, so 0987 7171 7700 62
77062
18.
18. Okay, thank you. Just one moment while I look up your order. Okay, and who am I speaking with?
My name is James Athanasiades.
Oh, okay. That is the weirdest last name I've ever heard.
Yeah, it's Greek.
Wow.
Yeah, it happens all the time. I'm sure you get it.
What do you mean?
Just like Anastasia, Athanasiades are kind of.
Actually, it's pronounced Anastasia.
Is it? Okay. Anastasia.
So it looks like you ordered 2 pillowcases.
Yeah, so it said they were Dijon, but they're really more like sandish.
Yeah, would you mind like holding them up to the camera?
Yeah, here, one sec. See how they're like, I mean, like on mine, they were clearly like a darkish yellow, but this looks like a different one.
Oh, so you actually were like going for more of like our cornbread.
No, I was going for the Dijon that I saw online.
Well, I mean, they look pretty Dijon to me.
I mean, like maybe like a homemade Dijon, but not like Grey Poupon standard, you know?
Well, but like, you know, like a Dijon mustard seed is brown.
Okay, so you're telling me that it's pre-mustard.
Exactly.
Okay, so what if I just want to return it and then get my money back?
Yeah, so I'm looking and it looks like those were final sale items for our big like Guy Fawkes Day sale. So unfortunately they are non-refundable.
For real.
For realsies.
Okay. You know what? I am just gonna make these work.
Yeah, you'll find a way. Is there anything else I can help you with today?
Apparently not.
Great. Well, thank you so much for shopping with CB2. We were just honored to help you perfect yourself and your home.
Thanks.
Bye.
Are we back? Oh my God. Hang on. Oh, I can't tell you how many times I've had that fucking conversation. I cannot tell you. That was so spot on as far as that goes. What an interesting, weird little slice of life. I mean, we've all been in that conversation, but to actually watch it and to have a concept of it. Also, a couple of things. I loved that you didn't ask for the order number and just, there was that huge long silence. And then Anthony asked her, wait a minute, did you ask me for the order number? I mean, it's so perfect. It felt very right and very real. And what the interesting, weird names also, totally singular and strange. Tell me how you approached it from a writing standpoint.
I just sort of started a Google Doc and wrote kind of the first chunk of it, and then Anthony came back with the second part, and we met and kind of talked. We read through it, and then we kind of figured out what needed to be tweaked and kind of ratcheted differently, and then that was it.
Well, it was extremely too close to the bone, too real, too fucking real. I loved it. I also thought just the performance level was perfectly calibrated for what this is, you know, and what this is, and what we think it is, and what we hope it to be, but what it never is. I mean, it's so rare to get any satisfaction from that phone call. How long was your character on hold, Anthony, in your imagination?
I mean, I just imagine like fucking way too long. You know, where you're just like, this is surreal. Like I am coming for this. You know, where you gotta question it and you're like, do I just eat it? Do I just fucking eat it? You know? And the three where you've been transferred to literally like tons of people and they hang up on you and all that kind of shit is just like, you know.
Another slice of modern life that drives us all completely insane.
Yes.
I thought the writing was sharp. I thought it was very, very specific in the way that those things need to be specific. I mean, the product was specific. The name Dijon was specific. Everything about it felt really just spot on. I felt like, you know, they always say, every time they say, this call will be recorded for quality purposes. Like, what the fuck? What is that? For quality purposes, yet you still get the same shitty quality. I loved it. I thought it was very clever and, as I say, incredibly specific in the best possible way. Want to open it up. I just thought it was great. Yeah. Anybody? Yes, Emma, and then Yvette.
Yeah. That was so funny. I don't know if this like sounds weird, but it was like one of those scenes where it's like, if you told me you didn't write that and you were just improvising the whole thing, like I would have believed it, because it was like the acting kind of disappeared. So it really just felt like I was watching this customer service conversation. I don't know why I would be doing that, but I'm glad that I did. So thank you for taking us on that ride. It was really fun.
Yvette.
Anthony, I really liked your performance. Like when you were getting pissed off, I was like, why isn't he getting pissed off even more? Like that would be me. But I was like, actually, no. The subtle explosions and like the specific actions that you did was like so good. and the fact that you chose to take the highway, you're like, you know what? I'm just going to take this. I'm not going to continue this any longer. Because you already been through 3 transfer calls. You're like, no. But brilliant performance, the both of you.
And a quick question, because Christine, I don't know if you know, I don't know if you thought about this, but these days, most customer service people are working out of their homes. And so, you know, you could have, I just sort of got that we don't see that, but I was on with somebody the other day and I heard this kid like screaming in the background, you know, typical kid doing whatever kids do. And I realized, oh yeah, she's in her home and she's got a kid or 2 racing around. Anybody else, please? John.
Loved it. Anthony, where are you? Where'd you go? Can't. There you are. Sorry, the boxes keep getting rearranged. Dude, I don't know you, but 2 weeks in a row, you were dialed in. You were dialed in. And when you leaned forward and said, "Can you hear me?" I was positive that was Anthony asking Christine, like, "Oh shit, did this go off the rails? Did you freeze?" And then when the scene continued, I swear I had an endorphin rush because I was like, the acting's just that good. They're just that good. And Christine, I know you a little better, and maybe it's just because of the play readings and the roles that you've done with Brian and I, but I don't think I've ever seen you be kind of unlikable. And I guess it holds true, the old adage of the nicest people play the best villains, because I found myself, like Michael was saying, like, I've been on this call 100 times. I wanted to gouge my ears out. And then watching your side of it too, it was just so effective. I literally wrote down, Christine needs to play this kind of role. I mean, from a writing standpoint, it was totally, I think, what the goal of a 3-2-1 is. It doesn't always have to be something, I mean, not to denigrate any other scene, but it doesn't always have to be something that is a 3-act structure. It's meant to be, sometimes it can be a slice of life. And this was totally grounded, believable. It's excellent writing, but as Emma, just to the point where I was like, oh shit, did they have technical difficulties? It was just, it was totally effective. And like, I can't wait to see what you both do. But Anthony, not knowing you as well, from the self-tape last week to this, I can't wait to see what you do next.
Thank you. Anybody else? Any other comments on this? Yeah, Gareth.
I just enjoyed the level of prickliness you both brought to it. It was like very, very satisfying.
Is there a world in which we would want to watch a customer service rep fielding calls all day in her home? I think there is. It's like, it's this little view into this life, because some of them are so terrible and so disengaged, and there's some who are very good. I mean, occasionally you get one who's very good, who really does what they're supposed to do and does take care of whatever issue you may have. And is there a world in which we would want to see a bunch of those calls? I kind of would. I thought it was very...
But it's also like when you're at home, what else do you do? What weird shit do you do when you're on the phone?
Exactly right. You know, so the husband's in the back making coffee or making lunch, and the kids are running around, and she's working, and there's so many distractions. Yeah, I just thought it was an interesting glimpse. And I mean, we've all been on the phone, but to see the person on the other end of the line is very cool. And as you imagine this, were they on the phone or were they on Zoom?
On Zoom, because
we were videoing.
he had to hold the thing up and.
Oh, right, correct.
Yeah.
Thank you. Forgot about that.
No, it's good.
Yes. Dijon. And I like that you worked the Grey Poupon in there. That was money, baby. Anybody else on this? It's just fun, really a fun, watchable, wonderful piece. All right, we're going to move on. Julia and Gareth are bringing us up to the end, and what writing prompt did you guys pick?
A first date.
First date. Okay. See you in a few minutes.
Okay. Can you hear me? Wait, I can't hear you.
I was muted, sorry.
Okay.
Are you sure it's gonna work? Man, I'm so nervous. Yeah, okay. Mom, it's about to start, so can you please not come into my room in the next 30 minutes? Thank you.
All right. You got this, okay? You're ready? Just remember the affirmations. You are a smart, confident, beautiful woman, and you don't need fuck Dr. Berg's exercises. Okay. You know what? Come back. It's okay. Okay, just breathe. That always works. Just breathe. Okay. You're ready? It'll be great. Yes.
This is fucked. Just remember Dr. Berg's exercises. In with the good. You are a golden light, and anybody will be happy to hang out with you, and out with the bad. This isn't going to go well. This isn't going to go well. This isn't going to go well. Or was it out with the bad and then in with the good?
Hi.
Hi.
You're not Ben.
No, I am Ben.
No, you're not the Ben I was supposed to see. Who are you? What? How'd you get here? This is a private Zoom meeting.
Okay. Maybe not the Ben you're looking for, but I'm Ben Farrell. I got your email with the Zoom link, and I thought you were this girl that I gave my email to at the bagel store, and we were going to exchange some music.
I don't like bagels. I don't understand. How? Oh my God. I spelled his name wrong in the email. Oh my God. He had one L. Really? My first day after, and this happens. Oh my God. Look, I'm sorry. I know this isn't your fault. You were expecting someone too. This is embarrassing. I better go.
Wait, do you think maybe we could hang out for a bit? Sorry, it's just, well, who are you? and what's the deal with this Ben Farrell guy with one L?
Look, I don't know you, and I really don't want to talk about my failed Zoom date, okay? This was a mistake. And
right, I totally get that, but maybe we were supposed to meet. My therapist thinks it's a good idea for me to hang out with people, and that's kind of hard right now, and you seem kind of nice, and I thought maybe we could have a short conversation.
You go to therapy? You must be a normal person then.
What? People usually go to therapy because they have problems?
Well, yeah, so everyone has problems. You go to the doctor when you're sick, right? So why shouldn't you see a therapist when you need support? I go.
That's true. I found this great therapist, Dr. Berg, and he's been trying to help me with my social anxiety and loneliness. And I feel like I'm finally making strides, but the world isn't ready for it yet. You know, maybe next year when it's easier to see strangers.
Wait, did you say Dr. Berg? That's so weird. That's my therapist's name. Wait. Okay, how do you spell Dr. Berg? Do you live in LA?
I'm in New York, but I have meetings with him over Zoom, so it very well could be the same one. Bergh, I think.
Oh, okay, no. Mine, there's no H in mine. Okay. There I go, mixing up names by one letter.
Well, that's pretty close though. That could have been nuts.
Yeah. You know, that was really cool what you said back there. I mean, not many people can admit that they're anxious or lonely. I wish I could accept all the parts of myself.
What do you mean?
Nothing.
I struggle with accepting my whole self, the good things and the bad, but everybody has good things and bad things, so you might as well accept it all because it's all you got. And sometimes the things that we think are the worst things about us are sometimes the best.
Yeah, definitely. But I think seeing the good has to be a choice.
How so?
Well, I don't know. I mean, if you go around this life waiting for happiness to show up at your door, it might come around once in a while, but I don't know. I don't want to wait for the feeling to come. I want to feel happy on purpose.
Well, therapy is helping you more than it is me.
No, not really. I mean, as much as I love Dr. Berg, I don't want to rely on him for the way I feel.
Man, isn't it so hard not to though? Especially now. I feel like there's parts of myself that will fade if I don't work on myself.
Yeah, me too. And I feel like I'll go missing in a lost and found bin. And I have to find that person again. Do lost and found bins even exist anymore? Do you miss anything?
I miss a lot of things. I mean, I miss being younger and not having as many regrets. I miss feeling vibrant and waking up with enough energy to take on the world and make the hard decisions. I miss my parents cooking for me, because nothing you make yourself ever tastes as good as something someone else has made for you. And I miss feeling like I'm not fucking up all the time. But that's kind of the serious stuff I save for Dr. Berg. We don't have to get into all that.
Oh, it's okay. And hey, I think if you're on this earth, you're young. And don't worry, I'm sure you'll have many more fuck up opportunities. They're the gifts of life. I know I've had many.
If you don't mind me asking, why are you in therapy?
You know that thing you were talking about earlier about accepting your whole self?
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, it's just been really hard to do, especially with my past. So it kind of started in college, after my grandfather died. After he passed, all of a sudden, I found myself getting anxious a lot, and sometimes I'd have to leave in the middle of events because my shoulders felt like cement and it felt like the walls were going to crush me. I remember this one day at school. One minute I was in class, and the next minute I couldn't breathe. And I'm a silent sufferer, and I'm good at hiding it, so I just got up and left. I'm doing a lot better now, but sometimes it's strangely hard to let that girl go. And when she comes back, I feel like I'm lying, because the person that others see isn't really me.
I would have never known that about you.
Told you I'm a liar.
No, you're not. Liars don't call themselves liars.
Okay, so what am I?
A discoverer. I think you're closer to discovering who you are than you think. Don't be so hard on yourself. Most people don't like me until they find out what I can do.
Oh, what's your special talent?
Well, I bake the best mega salted caramel, double chocolate chip, brown sugar cookies that you've ever tasted in the world.
Well, I'll admit I liked you before I knew that about you.
Those people are the best. The ones that like you all the same even before they know what you can do.
I'm really glad you showed up instead of other Ben.
I'm glad you don't like bagels. Can we do this again sometime?
Yeah, I think so, Ben.
Wonderful, another wonderful piece. If you had told me that this random conversation would have played out this way, I would have said, well, that's not believable. Nobody does that. That never happens. You made a very improbable situations feel very right and very organic. And I was totally with it. I wrote down, Gareth, you're moving into this kind of messy, random Seth Rogen territory, which is so cool. I mean, it was, there's a likability that you've always had that's somehow blossoming even more so now. At least that's my perception of it. And I was surprised by this. I was surprised that it worked. I was surprised that the basic concept, if I read it on paper, I thought, well, that's never going to work. That doesn't ever happen. But you made it extremely believable and extremely, it felt like it was just happening, which is the goal, of course. How did you come to the construction of the piece itself from a writing standpoint?
We didn't really plan anything. Gareth just kind of started the beginning a little bit, and then I added on to it, and then yeah, it just kind of flowed.
It did kind of flow in a good way.
One thing that we did that I liked is that we kind of we're live on the Google Doc and each wrote our own responses to the other person. So it's kind of like improving as we went along. It's like, oh, okay, how would I respond to that?
Right, right. No, it felt like a real conversation in the most improbable situation. It felt very, very real to me. And you guys were listening and you were connected. And when you mentioned the cookies that you made, I could totally see them. I could smell the kitchen when you were making them, and it was really very tactile in that way. I want to hear from the rest of you, though. What did y'all think? Yeah, Brian.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I really enjoyed it, and there was something very sweet about it. It made me feel good. There was something very innocent and simplistic about it in a way that was, really effective to me. And I just wanted to play like Sufjan Stevens in the background of your scene, like some mid 2000s indie pop, like something that would be on Garden State. It like had that kind of simple joy of meeting someone that you connect with. And so I just wanted to thank you for that. You gave me a good feeling.
Yes, I agree with all of that. And meeting someone you connect with is what the title of that scene was, because it was such a random thing, but the connection was real. Anybody else, please? Yeah, Kels.
Yeah, just dovetailing off Brian's, I loved it. And it was just this like really gentle vulnerability that both of you are in such command of without gripping it. It's just so easy to watch both of you just be vulnerable. It was really lovely. I loved it.
Yeah, Cam.
Yeah, I was getting very like this style of like Linklater or like Before Sunrise. Like there's this really wonderful like lightness and like just the kind of ubiquitous like spontaneity that you just like want to find, that like part of you believes it's just everywhere happening all the time, but maybe isn't as much. But like when you see it, it's like being on a park bench and like watching something really beautiful happen. I just really loved it.
John.
I thought I was going to be so smart in comparing it to Linklater, and then Cameron beat me to it, but I couldn't agree more. That's a testament to how like natural you two came across, and that's not to like demean the work, but it was just like watching a happenstance thing, and it is a little like to make us buy in as fully as we did. It is a testament to like what you two did. Julia, this is the most grounded, settled and dropped in I have ever seen you. Like in class, in person, or now. When you hit your stride, I didn't disbelieve a word of it. I don't know if it's the subject matter or if it's the collaboration. Your writing has always been fantastic and really quite breathtaking. But like this should be, whatever your preparation was or your process was, mark this as a high note, because this is a different actor than I met when you first joined Thursday's classes. It was just fantastic. Gareth, screw you, man. Is there anything you can't do? I'm also very envious of your appearance. I bailed on the COVID beer too early, man. I'm watching you and I'm like, oh man, it's like looking at like a lumberjack GQ. But I will say this: you did this amazing thing where you subvert expectations in such a really subtle and beautiful way. And the first time I noticed that was the first time I saw you do Shakespeare. And I forget which speech you did, but it was one that I saw 40 times in school, and you did it in a way that made me hear the words for the first time. And it always kind of just sounds like you're thinking of things. And you, I think, have a quality that sort of is ripe for the world that we will inherit from this terrible era, which is you have a masculinity that does not, it doesn't contradict sensitivity and listening and kind of a vulnerability. And this was a perfect showcase. I started to write notes. I literally wrote life affirming. Like that, to me, that was the note of the scene. It's just life affirming. And it was kind of a weird, this is the last thing I'll say, but it was a circular thing, I think, starting the evening with scenes of unrest and sort of ending with scenes of connection and love. There's a weird thing there, but this is why tonight is a special night. Tonight is a high note. This might be the best 3-2-1 we've ever had. Tonight was great, everybody.
We can all do the arm dance. Let's all do it. Okay. Come on, Brian Davis. All right, there we go. Anybody else on the yeah, Denise.
Yeah, I felt exactly the same way, John. It was like the first, or the one with Brian, and it was just like it was very difficult to listen to. It was very well done, don't get me wrong, but it was very difficult to listen to, and it just was a little depressing. And then this was just so lovely and gently hopeful that it was beautiful. It was a beautiful way to end. And I just want to say in general, I know I didn't say anything else tonight, but I just feel like I really learned so much tonight, and I'm just grateful to everybody because just such really wonderful performances and writing. I feel like I kind of wanted to sit back to see how other people wrote, or just kind of what I could learn more about about writing, so I just feel very appreciative of everybody this evening, and it was just just all around just really really wonderful. And thank you, Michael.
Oh, Denise, thank you. That's a beautiful sentiment. I feel the same way. This was a really interesting, unique, very high level class as far as the writing and the acting and what you all the agency that you took over this. So bravo. I mean, it was really very, very affirming to me personally. Just a couple of last minute thoughts, unless anyone else wants to speak on this scene. But so next week we're going to do another self-tape, which is what we're doing to kind of alternate, excuse me for one sec, alternate between this kind of a class and then a class that's more oriented to what we have to do in this crazy business. There will also be a play reading Thursday night. Yes, gents?
Yes. So actually, all three of us are here. Brian Davis, Cameron Gregg, and I are committing the cosmic hubris of taking on David Mamet's American Buffalo.
Wow. Okay.
So we will fail spectacularly or do our damnedest, but everybody please tune in.
And I already regret it. Having actually read it for the first time all the way through in many years, I went, what did I do?
Well, you were the one who chose it, so.
I know it was my idea, but I'm still regretting it.
It's a great play. It's a great play. I look forward to that. Anyway, just such a special class tonight. I thank you all for what you brought to it. Any closing thoughts from anybody? Yeah, Brian.
I just want to thanks for letting me be a part of this. Thanks for John to inviting me to even up the squads. Thanks, Emma. You're wonderful.
I'm glad you joined. That was a treat.
So thanks everybody. And I didn't really say much because I'm not a big talker in class, and I never have been. That's my tradition over the last 8 years. But I loved watching all of you. So
great.
Thanks.
Well, you can be a special guest star in this class anytime you want to be. It was just great. Thank you all. Look for an email tomorrow with a lot of details about next week, and have a great week and be good to yourself. All right.